Welcome to the John McCallister Report, where John McCallister, top football evaluator, interviews college and high school coaches and athletes from around the country. Sit back and enjoy today's podcast.
John McCallister, and today I'm spending the solo with this video podcast. I guess I could call it It's On Me. Blame me for everything you don't like or do like. But today we're going to talk about preparing for highlight videos, HUDL videos. And I think it's so important to start early, And that's you got scrimmages coming up. The first scrimmage coming up Friday and Saturday this weekend for many teams. And I think it's okay to HUDL Hi-lites video. I think it's huge. So I wanted to spend too long, really. I wanted to spend time today going over some of my thinking on that, what I look for and what I'd like to see in different positions. Sit back and enjoy my video podcast. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you take things with you. Have a great day. I'm John McCallister, and today, as I said earlier in the intro, I'd like to talk about making or preparing your video highlights, your HUDL highlights. And no, I don't think it's too early now. I think you start after the first scrimmage, you edit your best plays, maybe 5 or 6. I would do this after the coaching staff has a chance to evaluate it and then also point out mistakes to you and the good things to you. But I think you start it now. I don't necessarily think you put it on Twitter or put it on Facebook like after the first scrimmage. Maybe I just don't. I think it's kind of early to do that. And I think that you follow it all the season. Every, say, Sunday or Monday night, sit down and go through, and pick out your best plays. And then keep every week, keep track, add to that. And then by the end of the season, you'll have hopefully got a bunch of videos and clips because you had a lot of great plays. But your goal is to get that down to 25 or 30 plays for the whole season. So if you start now, you're going to see improvement. You're going to see how that you've gotten better, and then your improvement on how you edit the video, because you won't have the worry as much then because you'll have most of it done. Then you'll just have to go in December and edit the film, edit the best plays. And when you do the best plays you have, don't put stars and bells and things like that on it. I never did that. I put the circle or the arrow. Now guys like Mark Porter and those guys put to get an advantage, they put stars and comments and things like that and music. I don't think that's necessary because all the college coaches, they just want to see plays. They want to see plays. And not all the riffraff, not all the whistles and the bells and things like that. Now, I do find, for me, just make an arrow. Just make a circle on it, an arrow to where you are. And do this before the play develops. Don't wait, even on defense. Don't give us an idea of where you are on that. If you're playing defensive back, give us an idea of where you are in the defense. And then we'll glance at that, and then you have an idea of where the ball is or where the ball is going to be. But offensive linemen, running backs, make sure you put that little arrow early before the play develops. so that the coach or the evaluator can, get an idea of where that ball's, where the ball's going to start from and where you're going to start from. And maybe the film isn't very good, so you're going to have to really look for the number. But if you put that arrow or you put that little circle, that just helps so much to do that. And that's all you have to have on there. And, that's all you have to have. Now, if you're making I call them a memory video, your parents are, and you're going to keep that, you can do anything you want to on those. But try to remember the HUDL highlights, to me, should be different than your memory video or your old times or your video when you can show your kids when you're old. That's different than a HUDL video to me. HUDL videos, HUDL highlights, just the plays. And I think that makes it better. Now, the importance, I think they're important. Now, some college coaches will skim the video, but they want to get right to the games. They want to see all the games. And their coaches, with HUDL, college coaches now can see all your games. So no matter what you put on your highlight films, they're going to look at the games. Now, for me, I like to look at the highlights because those have to be your best plays. Your best plays have to be on the HUDL highlights. So I look at that and say, well, this guy can do it? At least he's done it. I wonder if he can keep doing it. I wonder if this prospect can keep making plays like that. He has the capabilities. Now, I just wonder if he does, because he's already done it on his highlight films. Now I wonder if he can come back and do it on like on a regular basis in game films. But highlight films, they're huge. I've had players tell me, prospects tell me, no, I haven't put one together yet. I haven't put one together. Well, it's huge. Take the effort and do that. And I know if you think it's too early, then wait toward the end of the season. That's okay. But I think it's just important to start on it so you get trained for it and so you recognize what you're doing. I think it's huge. Okay. I think the other thing, and I want to go over this with you, what maybe you should be looking for. Linemen. Let's go with offensive linemen first. Offensive linemen, you have to show quickness off the ball. You have to show that you can lead and pull and trap, or you can get out. You get your butt turned, get your feet out, and you can get outside and lead. And then also, it's really imperative that you find some pass protection blocks. You find some pass pro, as I call it, protection. You have in team, find some, at least any pass play you have, you should get on there. Okay, you should get on there and mix it up. Show it early. Don't just show all running plays in a row for like the first 10. Don't do that, because then college coaches and evaluators will say, boy, I wonder if this is all he does. And you don't want to do that. Also, make sure that you get blocking the second level. I don't think blocking downfield is that important, but make sure you block the linebacker on the second level, or you can, I guess would be the linebacker, or you can double team, or you can double team and play off the double team, chip, and then go to the next line, go to the second line and the second level. And I think it's important. Most important thing for linemen, you just have to be able to run, have to be able to move your feet. You're quick in the box and move your feet. Then I would also say the negative thing I see sometimes, linemen blocking downfield on some 6'1", 220-pound guy, and you're like 6'6", 6'5", and 280. and then you push him down, or you maul him, or you stand over him. Just block him and get out of the way. That's not tough guy stuff. Just block him and get out of the way. Pass block. And I've seen guys push defensive guys clear to the outside and push them down. And don't worry about that. Go to the whistle, maybe, and but don't worry about trying to be tough guys especially guys half your size. Don't do that. Tight ends, real quickly, you have to show some blocking someplace. You have to show some contact someplace to be able to block. Now, you want to catch the ball up the seam. You want to show good hands. You want to catch the ball in traffic. If you have that, if you want to block on the second level, come down inside and block. We have to see you block someplace. We have to see how aggressive you are, how well you can stay on your feet. And then you have to catch the ball in traffic. You show a play where you're catching the ball in traffic. Receivers, much the same thing, I think. You have to catch the ball in traffic, and you have to catch the ball at a high point. If you have any play, don't just, and then also blocking for a teammate. If you have any of those plays, good blocks, you have to show it, and then show maybe the ball was incomplete, but if you broke down and you ran an out, or you ran a tight, skinny post, show them your movement, show them your quickness. Quarterbacks. I think the biggest thing is you have to be able to throw the football. You have to be able to throw the football, but don't hand off a few times. Hand off, but it's throwing the football. You have to throw the out. You have to throw long and deep. You have to, and you put a play on there, even if the receiver drops the ball. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. We want to see good technique. We want to see you transfer your weight, transfer your strength in throwing the football, and I want to see accuracy. Now, obviously, you can't on a highlight film because hopefully every throw you throw is completed. Show ability to escape and throw the football, or the ability to escape and run. But throwing the football, I've had guys running all over the field and boom, touchdown. But you always want to be looking downfield, and it's probably hard. But if you can show any video where it shows you looking, like reading the defense, or you're doing the progression, you're doing where you can look to your one way and then just keep looking around and looking there. And if you can do that, because I think that's huge. I see that in games more. It's hard maybe on a highlight film, but even if it's if you can show something that shows progression and show a leader. And I think that's coming up to going into the huddle, maybe that's coming up to the line of scrimmage. Show something where it looks like you've taken charge of the offense. Tough. I think you have to be tough, Go back to the receivers. Okay, receivers. I think the slot receivers need to be able to run and block, the slot receivers. And I think the receivers, especially the outside receivers, have an excellent catch radius. They have that, they can catch the ball, have a really good catch radius. Okay. Let's go to running backs. Now, a crazy thing with running backs is that I'd love to see you on the kickoff team. Just come down and just crush somebody. Sprint. If you have any plays as a running back where you're on the kickoff team and you come down and you blow up somebody, you put that on there. Don't put a lot of them on there. Just put one or two that you can do it. And the kickoff return team, if you're on there If you have a play where you've blocked somebody, put it on there. If you're a kickoff return guy, put it on there. Don't make the first 5 plays of your huddle film all kickoff returns. Slide one in there. But don't maybe make it the first one, but don't put a whole bunch of them in there, because you'll get evaluators will get turned off. They'll get tired of seeing that stuff. Or if you have one where you just block somebody, because I think it's really important, running backs, to show physicality, not only in running the ball between the tackles, but I think it's important to show physicality in blocking, because we need to see that. Evaluators need to see, at least when, not every play, but where you hit somebody and you've really done a good job with that. Physicality. And then when I think you need the long run someplace, I hate to see all the long runs, like 15 long runs. I think you need some just to show separation, just to show how, you can get space between you and the defender. Okay. It's not always good to have a long run and have you get caught from behind, even though it was a long run, but try to show the runs where you eventually get space. Maybe someone comes at an angle on you, but you still get space between there. And then run between the tackles, break tackles, balance, vision, things we need to see. Run between the tackles and break tackles. And then also the vision. If you run outside, you need speed, but also I like to see guys looking inside and bouncing it, looking inside, but always look inside first. To me, that's a coaching thing to me. And also, I think if you can, one of the first things I look at or I notice is if a running back switches hands. If he's got it in his right hand and he puts it in his left and he's going outside to the left, then I think that's huge. Opposite, same way. Don't be switching in that 5-yard lane in there or between tackles and things like that. I'm talking when you get outside and or whatever. So that ball ball carrier just can't hit you with the ball and the arm on this side. At least you have more protection out here. And I think that's huge. And anything anything that on the outside, running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers especially, make sure you can run the sideline and balance and stay inside the sideline. Make sure if you got any plays like that, huge. And for number one, be aggressive, be tough, be aggressive. Let's go to defense. Defensive ends. Make sure you put your sacks on there, and I think you will. Make sure you put the sack attempts. Make sure you put coming off the edge and the stance. And I think coming out of your stance is huge. Make sure you have it just coming, and you can be just getting the ball carrier, whatever. But if you think your play shows a good stance and coming out of that stance, then put that on there. Put that on there. And can you disengage? Put plays where you disengage, where you get off the block and get off on the edge, and then get to the quarterback. Look for that. Get to the quarterback. Okay. And when you come across, find the football and get down the line of scrimmage. Find the football. But the biggest thing for defensive ends is just get to the quarterback. Get to the quarterback. Separate. Stay on your feet and get to the quarterback. And can you change direction? Can you change direction? Defensive tackles, I think those big, heavy-set guys, those big, short, heavy-set guys, it's almost a thing of the past. You can, first of all, I don't think you should get so heavy. But I think you really have to work on your quick twitch, everybody's looking for that. a quick twitch muscle, and then you're with your hands. And I think you have to be, along with defensive ends, I think you have to use your hands all the time. You have to, they have different words for it. Hands toughness, hands, violent hands, I think is one I got once. Violent hands. You have to use your hands to get off the block, to separate, and you have to really use quickness. And you've got to be able to stay on your feet. And, it's just changed so much. Pass rush. Can you break the double team? Can you get off the block and get to the ball carrier? I think it's really important. And when you come off the ball with a low power angle, do you get knocked off the ball or do you stalemate? I don't know if you can drive them back. That's great. But if you stalemate, do you get your elbows in, hands up, and pad under pad? I look for pad under pad all the time. Play low, pad under pad. Use your power angles. Okay. Next, we'll go to linebackers. I'll tell you the name of the game, and we'll do outside, inside together. You have to be able to run. No longer do you want to blow up the guard or blow up the running backs, anything. You don't want to blow them up. You want to get off the ball. If it comes inside, yes, you have to step up and you have to deliver. You have to deliver. But most of the time, the ball's going outside anymore. You have to be able to run. And the other thing you have to be able to do is change direction. I'm really critical on that. It's at games I am, but also just running to the football. You need to make tackles, linebackers. You need to make tackles. You need to, tackle at the line of scrimmage if you can. Come up and tackle at the line of scrimmage. Tackle on the outside. Get in pursuit and then dominate. I think you have to dominate as a linebacker. And you can do you have any pass breakups? Do you have any where you knock the ball down? Get those on there. And interceptions, obviously. And it would be great to see you linebackers on the kickoff team, on the kickoff team or the receiving team, mostly the kickoff team. How tough are you getting downfield? How aggressive are you getting downfield? And that's important, really important. Like to cornerbacks, can you play man on man? Can you stay with them? Can you open your hips? Can you flip your hips and go with them? And it's tough. I know it's tough to do. I think quarterbacks are not a dime a dozen. Our corners are hard to find. And you have to, they say cover corner. I think that's true. But someplace show making plays, show being aggressive, show closing speed, reaction speed, where you get, the guy catches the ball. You come in. If you're covering the slot receiver, you have to be able to run with them. You have to play zone. I look and see how disciplined guys are playing zone, how they sit back, how they go sideways, and how they can run backwards. Sounds silly, but you got to be able to run backwards, backpedal, and then recover. You have to be able to do those things. So important. So important. In corners, you need to be as tall as you can be. Everybody wants 6'1" corners. Be as tall as you can be. Safety is the last one to free safety. I would say you have all the corner possibilities, except you have to play center field a lot, and you have to be able to run sideline to sideline. You have to have the speed to do that. You also are almost like a linebacker. You can't lock up on guys. You can't blow up guys. You got to be able to run. And I think the other thing is either the free or the strong or the nickel or whatever. One of you has to come up in the box and be aggressive and make tackles. And it's no longer just sitting back there every play. You've got to come up and make plays. So It's huge. Well, those are positions that I've gone through quickly. You can rewind, or if you ever have a question, I would be glad to answer that for sure. Okay. Thank you.